So I'll do the best that I can to see
You're
if
live. So we're gonna go.
somebody's responding. Now it's not coming up live here. And you, Andrea. Oh, okay. All right.
It's
Okay.
as low as it'll go. I think it's
Okay.
because it would not go. Or you wasn't subscribed, maybe. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so I see us, but look, that's what we look like. So let's fix us. Let's fix this. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so we need to go down. Da-da-da-da.
Okay.
I got us, guys.
All
We're
right.
going to get this. We're going to get this. All right. Now, here we are.
And my volume is good now. It's the music was loud, and I'm just fine
Make
right
sure our
now.
volume's up on this. Perfect. There we
Okay.
are. We are
Super.
loud and clear.
Okay.
Perfect.
We're rolling.
All right. Now you can turn the volume down on that, John.
Okay.
See, we're going to learn this. Eventually, it's all going to come together. And then our comments will like pop up underneath that as we go along.
Gotcha.
So good morning, everyone. Welcome. You guys just bear with us. It's been a morning. Alex, you know, he's over on one of the jobs this morning. Some things we just can't plan out, but it's okay. It's life, and that's how it works. But good morning, and it's going to be a good morning. And we have two great guests with us at the table this morning. We have John Winslow, and we have KC here with us this morning. Or KJ. I'm sorry, KJ here with us this morning. See, she's got me nervous. I don't never get nervous. I don't know what in the world's going on. But yeah, and they are coming here this morning from Luray, right? Both of you guys from Luray, and we are going to talk about some different topics this morning. One of the topics is shame.
Yeah.
So let's just get into it. John, how are you? That's one of the questions we always start out with everyone. How are you?
Actually, I'm feeling wonderful this morning. And I am free from shame today. And, as we're talking about kicking around what kind of topic, shame came to mind because you were talking about your past and your history, a little bit about that, and your relationship with law enforcement in the past. And then you talked about being approached by the chief of police over in Luray the other day, and who was complimenting you and what you have done and the show that you have put together here. And it made me think of the transition from where so many of us that are in recovery coming from a place of shame and guilt and remorse, self-loathing. They all fit me to a T when I was out there in my active addiction. I happen to be a person in long-term recovery. And so when I was out there, I was just laden with negative feelings about self. And it was reflected, in my life. And so through the process of recovery, to go from feeling so bad about myself, self-loathing, and over time, because recovery is, we talk about recovery being a process as opposed to an event. The event was, for me, having a head-on collision, and through that, as the straw that broke the camel's back for me, getting, as we say, getting the cork in the jug, stopping my use of alcohol and other substances, and then going into, it was my third treatment experience. I just turned 26 years old.
Wow, 26.
And then moving, and then moving into recovery. And so that process of the way that I used to feel about myself and the way that I was to the person that I am today, and shedding all those negative feelings about myself, going from self-loathing to self-love, I am just deeply blessed that I have experienced, the gift of desperation, as
Mhm.
we say, that moved me from the life that I used to live into a life of recovery.
Wow, that's beautiful. John, 26, you had mentioned, that is so young to go through what you had went through. I often have said in the past, I'm so thankful for not going through the hard experience I went through, and many of in my 30s, the hard experience. I wouldn't really want. I'm thankful I didn't go through it in my 20s because I feel like I would have been ripped from my children even with them even at a younger age. So I feel so I just have such sadness for the mothers who are battling addiction in their teens and 20s, especially with young children, because what a hard battle it is. So kudos to you. I didn't realize that you were in your 20s when you went through that. The younger the
Mm.
battle, I feel like, I mean, of course, all of it's a hard battle. But the 20s, man, that's a
And
fragile age.
and at the time, there weren't a whole lot of people in their 20s that were in recovery.
Oh, I don't
Um,
imagine not.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's changed over time, and we see people younger and younger, and not needing many people that not needing to lose as much as they have lost that can get into recovery. Used to be they used to refer to people in recovery back in the early days of 12-step programs as last gaspers, that if you still had a wristwatch, you weren't ready to get into recovery. You needed to lose everything.
That's right.
And so there are many, many more people now that can move into recovery without having lost everything in their lives.
Right. Yeah. That's
And
that's beautifully said.
right, and so what you're doing here is offering people an opportunity to see that you don't have to go all the way down the elevator before you can get off.
Yeah, that is so true. So true. Well, I'm glad you're here, John. We're going to bring some
Mm.
light to a lot of things this morning, I'm sure. All right, and then we got KJ.
Hey,
KJ, how are you?
I'm doing great. Pretty
Y-
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and how are you holding down at that coffee shop in Luray? It's one of my favorite places to go to,
Yeah,
by the way.
it's a pretty good job. It's pretty laid back and everything.
I
And
love the vibe down there.
yeah.
I mean, just even walking outside, especially with spring coming, isn't
Mhm.
it peaceful?
Yeah,
Those of you that don't
definitely.
know, KJ works down at the coffee shop there. It's
Broad porch.
Broad
Broad
porch,
Porch.
yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful place, beautiful place.
Yeah.
Go in there and visit her. It's the best. You're in long-term recovery as well. How
Right.
many years?
I've been clean and sober for about 3.5 years.
What happened to you to make you kind of realize, okay, this isn't the life for me?
Well, a lot. I first started, you know, or I don't know. I was 19 when I first ever like got in trouble or anything.
Mhm.
So, but then I didn't stay sober then. I was like kind of in and out of sobriety until probably, I don't know, 29 or 30. No, probably 28. I don't know. But
It's okay. It was
what
foggy, I'm
my
sure.
eye opener was when I got arrested. The last time I got arrested, it was July 13th. I used that as my sobriety date too. But it really like just opened my eyes. I'm like, wow, I'm really done. I was
Yeah.
getting ready to go to prison, and
Wow.
I was scared.
Well, sure.
I have a kid, and I wasn't trying to lose him.
Wow. You have
But
a precious little
yes,
boy.
I do.
He is so sweet.
But yeah, I did that little last stint in jail, and then I got out, and instead of doing the other things I used to do when I got out of jail, which was go right back to go get high, I actually went to the meeting. I looked up and I was like, "Where's the next meeting? I need to go."
What meetings did you go to?
Oh, I go to 12-step meetings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
23 West
Okay,
Main Street in
23 West.
Luray.
Okay,
Yeah.
where is that exactly located?
Um, right next to the Blue Ridge Bank.
Okay.
Yeah,
And it's
it's right downtown in
right
Luray.
across from the
Right.
broad
Yeah.
porch.
yeah, so you can
Yeah.
actually get a coffee.
Yeah.
And these are offered daily at noon, right? And then
Yeah.
there's other ones. Can you go
We
over
have
that?
they're twice a day, every day,
Tell
7 days a
tell
week.
our people about it.
We have every day at noon except for Sunday. Sunday's at 10 o'clock. But then every other, or yeah, always in the evenings too. We have either to 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock.
That's so
And so,
awesome.
Yeah.
so there are a variety of 12-step meetings that are offered there. There's Al-Anon, which is for family and friends of a loved one with an addiction problem. There had been Overeaters Anonymous, which is now has now moved to a different location, but that's offered in Luray on a weekly basis. There's also Narcotics Anonymous meetings that are offered there as well. So it's a variety of 12-step meetings that occur, as KJ was saying, on a daily basis.
That's amazing. Do you all still have the cards that have like all the dates?
Yes.
I would like to get a copy
I
of that
got
from
you.
you guys.
Yeah.
What we need to do, or what I would like to do, is get a picture and post it and pin it on our wall
Yeah.
on Facebook. So whenever anyone comes to Valley's page, they can just see the meetings that are
Yeah.
offered.
That would be fabulous. Thank you so much for that. And
Yes.
if you go to Facebook and just go put in 23 West Club, we have a Facebook page, and the first thing that pops up, because it is pinned on there, are all the meetings that are offered.
That's awesome. So you went into those meetings. Why
Yep.
did you pick those meetings?
Well, it's what I had done before, so it's kind of what I knew to
You were
go
familiar.
to. I knew it worked for other people. Plus, I didn't really know about anything else, to be honest with you. I feel like, I don't know, recovery is not I mean, it should be a well-known thing because a lot of people need it. But it's just what I knew, so I went, and
And you started working the steps?
yeah, it worked for me. I didn't start the steps right away. For some people, it's a faster process. Others, it's slower. Me, definitely a slower process. I still have a lot to work on, but
Yeah. We all
yeah.
do.
I just, I started going to meetings. I went every day, sometimes twice a day, because that's what I needed at the time. But yeah.
Wow.
Let me jump in there, because as KJ's talking about the meetings and find that's something that she had been familiar with in the past. We were talking before we went live here this morning about the fact that there are multiple pathways to recovery. There's the
Yes.
free indeed, there's Christian based, there's celebrate recovery,
Yeah,
there's
we actually talk
LifeSpring.
about it at the end of every
Yeah.
episode here about all the meetings that we know of. We announce. Now, if there's any other meetings out there that we don't announce, please message me and let me know, because we do not try to public
Try to be
announce. And
inclusive.
yeah, I want to let everyone know about all the meetings, because there are different pathways, and there are different ways to go. What worked for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work
Mhm.
for me. Me personally, what worked for me is Jean Good getting me up at 4 a.m. every morning and making me go to work and making me go to church and making me do these things that I did not want to do. And then people over me looking at me and telling me, well, everything you don't want to do is what you have to do right now. And I'm just like, and I dreaded my life and hated my life for a little bit of time, until I finally just started. I don't know what happened. I really can't even tell you when I started being happy, but happiness started falling into place in my life. But that's what happened to me. Now, that might not have been what happened to you. Yours was the 12-step program, and
Right.
going into and slowly getting around that program,
Right.
which in the 12 steps is higher power. What is your higher power? I don't know what your higher power is. John doesn't know who your higher power is. None of us know. It could be.
I
Buddha,
needed to find my
don't
own,
know.
and that
Right.
was a beautiful thing about recovery, that it
Right.
was open to finding what worked for me.
Right. What works for you? And that's what the beautiful thing is. So, I mean, I guess we always talk. We come to the table and we talk about the miracles and what happens in our life, but we also want to remind everyone. And John, you brought it to my attention. We do need to remind everyone that there are different ways. There are different ways that we can go to. That higher power is different in people's way, in different eyes. For me and mine, it's a different way that I share in my experience, because I know that's what worked for me.
And there's no wrong pathway.
Right.
Whatever works for you.
Right.
Right. And I think you hit a key point in a lot of like I think it might be common in a lot of recovery paths is literally like changing everything about yourself.
You
Like
have to
doing
change.
a complete turnaround because you can't recover or change or do anything different without actually changing what you do.
Yeah. And
I was told it was a simple program. All I needed to do was turn my life around 180 degrees.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, for here at the house, we abide by the lifestyle that Jean put on me. And we are straightforward with every person that comes in here and lives. This is how we operate and this is what we do. And they don't have to live here. You don't have to. You can go somewhere else. But this is how we operate here because this is what has worked for me. And I'm scared to mess that up
Hmm.
because
Mhm.
you know what I
Mhm.
You
mean?
can't
This
jeopardize
is
your own
my recovery on, and I live in recovery myself. So for me to help the community, we have to abide by what I'm going through in this house because this is my personal space too. So that's the reason why we operate like that for the women who live here.
If it works, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
right. That's right. So yeah, so let's go back to that shame though, guys. Shame. Like that was a great experience that I felt the other day when we were in there eating and one of the guys coming up and looking at me and saying, you know, hey, I listen to your podcast every day. Number one, like I told you guys earlier, I don't even like taking the credit on the podcast because Alex was the one who was like hammering me for a long time on getting this started. And it's been a beautiful thing. I just kind of followed his lead and just went and got the stuff and was like, all right, let's do this thing. I kind of feel guilty even doing it without him all the time, like here lately, you know, because he, you know, but he is, he followed what was on his heart and I listened. But it is ironic to have someone come up and someone from back years ago to now, you know,
And this was
acknowledging
law
that.
enforcement,
Yeah,
right?
law enforcement. Yes, a handful of them, and one in particular who is going to be here, and I can announce it. Bo Cook is going to be here tomorrow morning on our
And
podcast.
Bo
So,
Cook is who, for those that don't know?
well, you go
The
ahead and
three
say
people that don't know?
it. Oh, we got three. He's the chief of police. He's
Yes.
going to be coming here in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's exciting to have him here in the morning. And Taylor Alger will be here at the table in the morning with him, and we'll have Alex back, Lord willing. So it's going to be exciting. Yeah, but shame. I didn't have the when we talked about shame. I didn't have. I was scared to come back to Page County when it first started. I had shame. I'm not gonna lie. When I came back to Page County, I had a lot of shame. Just going into Walmart, Food Line, anything. When I came back, I was ashamed to even go into a room.
Yeah.
I was ashamed. But you don't have to be ashamed.
Right.
So let's talk about that.
I guess I was first introduced in when I was in school, the concept that excuse me, the concept that the eyes are the window to your soul. I never went to jail. That's not because I didn't deserve to go to jail. I did deserve to go to jail, but I just didn't happen to get caught. So my shame was not so much public, it was an internal sense of me knowing who I was and how I was. And with that concept that the eyes are the window to your soul, I had difficulty even walking. I used to be a cigarette smoker. Walking into a pharmacy to buy a pack of cigarettes, I didn't want the clerk to look into my eyes and perhaps catch a glimpse of who I truly was. And so I didn't had difficulty looking directly into somebody's eyes. Today, that's something that I take great when I'm aware of it, just take great enjoyment to be able to look somebody directly square in the eyes and not have fear that they may catch a true sense of who I am.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the absence of fear that I can live in today, and that's only through the experience of getting into recovery and then maintaining my ongoing recovery.
Right. Right. Now, do you ever John, do you ever like work out or do anything like that extra in your recovery? Do you believe in doing anything extra like that, or do you not?
Yesterday I was yesterday I well, I got over 20,000 steps in as far as, walking steps.
So it's
Um,
important for you?
important for I did that. I went out and played pickleball, and then afterwards, my son, my grandson, who just turned 6 years old, Walter, my son Corey, Walter, and I went splunking in the national forest. And if you go, and those of you that are on my go to my Facebook page, I got some videos and some pictures of the three of us, exploring down in the depths of this cave,
Yeah.
and just
So
a lot of fun. So
nature's important for
out
you.
in nature, trying to just continuing that process of taking good care of myself. I mean, if I truly love myself, then I'm going to work on, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being
Right.
of the essence of who I am.
Yeah. It's so important. So when you see someone that's out here who is battling addiction, who is bruised and battered on the ground, like and they come to you personally and there's no one else around, how what would you use for their, and this question's coming to you too.
Mhm.
So you can go ahead and start
Okay.
thinking about it.
I am.
What would you use for their tactic to get up?
Well, what I would use is what has worked from the beginning of the founding of Alcoholics Anonymous back in the 30s is the concept. At the time, it was the concept of one drunk helping another. And so over time and how drugs have spread throughout, in addition to alcohol, the use of all kinds of drugs and drug addiction has spread throughout our nation and throughout the world. It's not just the alcohol, it's all forms, any mind-changing, mood-altering substances. As I share my experience, strength, and hope of what happened to me, rather than this is what you need to do, I say, this is what my experience has been. This is how I was, and talk about the shame and the guilt and the remorse and the self-condemnation. And then how, through the process of my recovery, how that has changed for me and how, I go from self-hatred to self-love. And so I share that with them, and I invite them, if that has appealed to them, or if there's some other pathway, something else that you think might work better for you, I invite you to do that. However, just keep coming back. Don't give up before the miracle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So don't
That's
quit
beautiful.
trying.
That is so beautiful. KJ, what about you?
Me?
You see someone
Mhm.
who is battered and down, and there's nobody else around,
Right.
and they're asking you for
Yeah.
help. It reminds me of one of those pictures where somebody's like reaching up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
What would you do? How would you help that person?
Well, for one, I'd probably ask them if they need anything besides drugs because that's not what they need.
Right.
I don't know. I've actually been in that situation a couple of times. Really, I just offer them a meal. Depending on the situation, if they need a place to stay, I have a couch. I don't know because somebody that's that down and out, whether they put themselves in that situation or not, everybody needs help. Um, I take them to a meeting because that's what I do. It's what works for me. Or reach out to other members in recovery and ask for help.
Mhm.
Um, just make them feel welcome, basically, and let them know that they're not alone. Tell them that recovery is possible. I often share my story. It's not a secret that I'm in recovery. I recover
Right.
out loud, and
Right.
I'll let them know, and I try to show them what recovery is, for me.
Yeah.
I tell them, I used to live in mom's basement, and now I don't.
Right.
I have a lot of things going for me.
Right.
And
Yeah,
what
That's great.
I'm busy all the time, but it's funny that I'm busy all the time, but I'm just now learning the concept of like self-love,
Yes.
because there is a lot of shame there, internal mostly.
Mhm.
There's I think as moms we talk about the mom guilt, but is it really actually mom guilt? It might be shame.
Mhm.
Um, which I just thought about. But
That's beautiful,
you
though.
know,
That's beautiful.
I just I'll tell that person about all of those things. Where I was and what it took for me to get where I am now.
Your story.
Right.
Yeah. And I think, John, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I
To
was
add
going
to
to
that?
say that the what KJ and I are both talking about is it just puts me mindful about the concept of we, that rather than somebody, just they're going to use their willpower and they're going to get themselves and keep themselves in recovery. I used to have before I got sober, I was through work, I was involved in a group therapy process, and my counselor, who was a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, he used to often say in our group therapy sessions that we can do together what none of us can do alone. And I thought to myself, that's BS. If I want to stop using, I'll just stop using. I just don't want to stop using. And then, the truth finally revealed itself is that
Right.
whether I wanted to or not, I could not stop on my own.
That's right.
So it's that concept that we can do together what
Together.
I could not do alone.
That's right. And yeah, that's right. Took me back on that one. 'Cause, and in my case, what I would do if there was someone laying on the floor reaching up for help is different. I would different, but yet the same. I would also tell my story of what I've been through, and I would pick the person up and I would talk, and like I had told them earlier about how a lot of people aren't ready for the name that I use, which is Yahweh and Yeshua. And I would speak of that, and I would wash their feet, and I would do a spiritual way about it to handle the person. Although all three of our answers are a little different, they are the same as far as sharing stories. No answer is wrong, is where I'm getting at this table this morning. We all have past experiences. We've all been through it, and we've overcome. And there's people out
Mhm.
there struggling right now who are reaching out for help. How are we going to handle that? We can't just walk by. And I'm talking to people out there right now who's going to listen to this either this morning or later today or later in the week. You can't just walk by these people and just nonchalant just walk by and just keep living our lives. We are here for purpose and reason, I do believe. And I believe that we are to now turn and try to help others in some way. Um, Now, if you're in a newly in recovery, find other ways to help yourself to first. I think get yourself in a safe place. But man, what a beautiful feeling it is to be able to help other people.
Right, and it makes me think of how in the founding of Alcoholics Anonymous and just in the name Alcoholics Anonymous, that people would in essence hide in basements and share with one another because the stigma was so overcoming in the community for women in particular. Oh, all the shame of being a woman alcoholic, female alcoholic. And so over time, there has been an awareness of being able to come out into the public like we're doing right here today and sharing with other people that we have our lived experience and we can share that with others that unless we reveal that to the public, they're not going to know that the help is available. So we
That's
we
right.
are walking living proof that recovery does work. And it's an ongoing process, and the three of us all know that although we are in recovery, and sometimes we'll use the phrase that we've recovered. It's the old cucumber and the pickle, that I can turn a cucumber into a pickle, but I can't turn a pickle back into a cucumber.
That's right.
And so I need to remember that I am a pickle and not forget that.
That is right. That is so right, John. I love that. So, guys, thank you all. I mean, thank you guys is there anything else that we need to talk about this morning? I think that we have nailed it
Yeah, I
to
think we've
the
covered a
core.
lot.
Shame and how we do not have to be shameful. And if you guys, have any type of shame sitting there this morning, today's a new day. Put that shame away. lift the head up. We got a noon meeting today, right? You guys have a noon
That's it.
meeting.
Yep.
So head on out to 23 West Main and join them for the meeting today with your head held high, and reach out to the resources that we have. We have many resources now, and let's talk about the resources. We have Celebrate Recovery on Monday nights at 6 p.m. and that's at Main Street Baptist. They offer childcare too. Free Indeed is on Tuesday nights at 6:30 at Newport Road, and that's at 6:30 as well. 23 West Main, AA is at noon. This is the only meeting I have on our list because when I was in my intern, that's the only meeting that I had went to. But we're going to get that card with all their different meetings, and we'll put it on our website. That way we can keep, the community open with that. Rec Center, shout out to Audrey and everything he's doing down there. If you would like to donate to his cause, go to Cash App Living Legacy Luray. First Steps to Freedom, 330 Shen Elk Plaza. That's at 7 o'clock on Thursday nights. Another Thursday night group is New Life Recovery at Grace Covenant in Harrisonburg, and that's at 6:30 as well. We're doing the Hellfighters event. If you want to go on an off-road event with all of us, and we're going, me and Jean are going to this event. It's we're renting ATVs, we're renting cabins up in the West Virginia area. We're going from April 23rd. I don't know the exact dates, but it's 4 days we're going away. And we're going to be riding four-wheelers and just having fun. So I'm excited. The Hellfighters, if you don't know them, get to know them. They go into bars and the clubs, and they try to get people out of there and talk about recovery, and they push Jesus. They're Jesus 100%. I love them. They're super cool. They come in here and they did our table. They're super cool. Actually, these are all them. These people. And then we have Pastor Andy Seastrom that reached out to us to announce a Shenandoah Valley Jubilee. There's 2 separate services on March 14th and 15th at 9 a.m. and 6:30. This is at Page Valley Baptist Church at 4567 U.S. Highway 340 in Luray. Promised Land will be singing on Friday night, and Hensley family will be singing on Saturday night. So go on out for a good time to listen to music. I mean, I'm not sure if there's preaching or what's going on there, but I mean, go out and listen to music, if anything. So yeah, if you guys have anything you want to announce, reach out to me on Messenger and let me know, and I would be happy to announce anything upcoming for our events here in the Valley. Tomorrow morning, come out and eat breakfast with us at 8:30 here at Jean's house on 270 West Main, the Valley's Rise Above Female Home. Bo Cook will be here in the morning, and Taylor Alger. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for coming. You guys are welcome.
Thanks so much
to
for
this
having
table.
us on.
Yeah,
Thanks
you
for
guys are
having
welcome
us.
here anytime. I really appreciate it. And like and subscribe to our page, guys. Keep joining. Bye. Have a good day. You guys like it?
Yeah.